Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to a special Wednesday. I almost forgot what day it was, man.
I know. Big pause there.
I know, right?
Got me nervous. You got me nervous.
I haven't completely lost it. I'm close, but I haven't completely lost it here. All right, so Andy Ruiz came out this morning. All right, and basically, I guess it was on Instagram, correct, Beeb?
That is correct, 100%.
And he says, hey, I'm not going to Saudi. I'm not fighting him there. Okay. All right. But the fight has already been announced. All right, listen, the fight's already been announced. Look, the fight's going to take place in Saudi Arabia. Bottom line, if you're going to fight him, you're going to fight him there. There's no, I don't know what his end goal is here. I don't know if I really don't. I don't get it at this point. Speaking of Ruiz here, listen, Hearn is correct that he has a contract, and you did sign the contract because it has a rematch clause and everything like that. And he said in the interview, there was somebody had interviewed Hearn. I think it was Boxing Social or one of them. I mean, I've seen quite a few interviews with Hearn now, and he kind of says the same thing in all of them. And he basically says, look, there was no new contract that needed to be signed. He's already signed a rematch clause where we determined this, and this, the venue and everything like that. Now, we made concessions, and I'm sure he's going to want more concessions. That's why he didn't come out and accept the fight on social media and everything. He's going to want more concessions, like more money or more this or whatever, So, that being said, other than money, really, what are we talking about here? I mean, he's going to go listen, the fight's already, they put too much, there's 70, what is it, 40 to 70 million, whatever the number is. I heard 70, people are reporting all different numbers. But anyway, let's just say this. It's a lot of money, all right? It's a lot of money. That fight's not coming out of Saudi Arabia. There's no way that fight's coming out of Saudi Arabia. There's too much money tied up to it now. They're building a temporary structure over there to house the fight. You're going to Saudi Arabia or you're not fighting him. It's that simple. Beeb, what do you make of all this? I mean, what is his end goal here? I mean, why is he,
Well, again, in my opinion, because this is the thing, and we talked about this earlier, everybody thinks that if this goes to litigation, everyone's talking about how bad it's going to be for Ruiz. Well, I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever been involved in litigation before. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows anyone that's been involved in litigation before, but it kind of sucks for both parties. It's not fun. It's a long, drawn-out process, and you may think you're going to get everything you want, and you may get most of what you want, but generally, more often than not, concessions are made. Had an issue with my ex-girlfriend. She had an issue with the father of her child, and she got a lot of stuff, but she still had to make concessions. Even though she won, she still had to make concessions. She didn't get everything she wanted. Some of the things that she didn't get, she was kind of pissed about, and that took her about a year. So anytime you're getting ready to go to court and you're getting ready to have a long drawn-out case, it sucks for both sides. And then Anthony Joshua really can't fight either, because if he fights, then the rematch clause gets voided out. Now, the end game here is Eddie Hearn has a contract. He has paperwork. He has a case. What I think is happening here is, and I talked about unconscionable contracts, and that's open to debate whether or not how a judge. Right now, you have to say that Hearn has more things in his favor because he has the contract. What Ruiz may have or may not have is open to debate, but what Hearn does have is not open to debate. Does have a rematch clause. He does have the two clauses, the two things in the rematch clause stating, the two conditions stating that, he can choose where the venue is, when the fight's going to be, and from what I understand now, the purse for Ruiz is predetermined. So I'm not stupid, and I don't think anyone else should be stupid. I think that, definitely someone's in Ruiz's ear. I don't think he just decided to come up with this all by himself.
No, there's no way he did.
So I'm sure legal people are talking to him, and I'm sure unconscionable contract came up, and I'm sure he can use the defense too now that I feel for my safety going to Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? Given the conditions, given how a reporter got killed over there or whatever. I mean, if that goes before a judge, then he could say, you know what, I'm concerned, I'm under mental duress, I don't feel safe there. How am I going to prepare for a fight and fighting in the area where I don't feel safe? Whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm sure that what they're thinking is, we have the belts. And if we can play a game of chicken with the other side, and if they want to go to litigation, I don't think they want to go to litigation. I think they like what Hearn said. We put this in a neutral arena because we want to avoid the headaches. Well, what's the headaches? The headaches would be litigation, right? Yeah. So apparently Hearn doesn't want to go through litigation. So they're probably saying to themselves, well, you know what? We're gonna hold out as long as we can to see if he'll make more concessions. Now. You're right about that. Like them taking the fight out of Saudi Arabia now at this point, it's
gonna happen.
It's going to be virtually impossible. So I understand.
Can you imagine how? I mean, they would get sued. Like Hearn, Matchroom, everybody involved in that thing would get sued. No questions asked.
Well. Again, you still don't have a contract for the fight with both signatures on it, though. That's one thing. You do have the rematch clause, and you were well within your right based upon the rematch clause and what was in the rematch clause. Those two stipulations that were in the rematch clause, you were within your right to announce the fight. But I'm going to be honest with you. If it was me, I probably would have held off and did it where I could have both, because both fighters weren't there for a reason, because they didn't sign for the fight. Neither fighter signed a contract. Because there's other things to be worked out in the contract, not just the date, the venue, and the location, and what Ruiz is getting. What about all the other things that are involved in a contract, right?
Yeah.
So that has to be put, pen to paper. So I'm not saying what Hearn did was wrong. I probably would have waited and held off until I definitely had both names on the contract. So the thing is this, Ruiz can let them, can say to them, well, you want to sue me, and then he's gonna say, he's gonna be saying to himself, and people are probably telling him the same thing I'm saying. They really don't want this to go to litigation. So if we keep, holding out and threatening that we're not going to fight, blah blah blah, whatever, then this can go to litigation, which is something they don't want to do. And if this goes to litigation, no one wins. No one wins. No one wins. Everyone acts like this just hurts Ruiz. It hurts Joshua too. Because again, if these belts get stripped from Ruiz and they all get vacated, and then he goes and fights for vacant titles, Anthony Joshua, he goes and fights Kubrat Pulev for the IBF title, he's going to be looked at as the paper champ.
Yeah.
And no one's going to, the UK fans will ride with him regardless. If he had a WWE belt around his waist, they don't care. But what about the rest of the world? How does he sit down with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder without the three belts? Where does he loses the leverage? He loses. He has to start from scratch. His position changes. His status changes. Okay, he doesn't hold the same weight as he did before, because now Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury are starting to make big money now, because they got some pretty good deals now. Tyson Fury's got the ESPN deal now. Showtime's starting to pay Deontay Wilder 8 figures. So like how does this strengthen Joshua's position? This weakens Joshua's position just as much as it weakens Ruiz's position. Now, people could say, well, Joshua's got more money in the bank. It doesn't matter to him. Okay, but he can retire tomorrow. It's not, I mean, I think at this point it's past the money. Now he wants to, make a legacy for himself. How's he going to make a legacy for himself if there's a guy out there that beat him that he didn't avenge the loss to? You know what I mean? Like Muhammad Ali lost to Joe Frazier. He lost to Leon Spinks. He lost to friggin' Ken Norton. He avenged all those losses. That's why he's in the position he's in history. Lennox Lewis avenged both of his losses. Mike Tyson at least tried to avenge his losses, but he couldn't. So, Evander Holyfield avenged some of his losses. He fought everybody. So, if he goes back and wins the titles, after they're stripped from Ruiz, and he fights, Kubrat Pulev, fights Joe Blow from Idaho, whatever, and who's to say that he's going to be able to unify them? Like, he may fight for the IBF, and then it'll take him another year to fight for the WBO because Tyson Fury is going to fight someone for that vacant belt if that gets stripped, right? So then you're going to have Tyson Fury with a belt. You're going to have Deontay Wilder a belt. You're going to have Anthony Joshua. It's going to be a fucking mess. And then you're going to be in the same position because Fury's not going to want to fight fucking Joshua because he's going to ask for 60-40 because, Joshua lost and he's undefeated. And Wilder's going to do the same thing. So this is not going to be good for Joshua. This weakens Joshua's position when he sits down with Fury and Wilder. The only way Joshua can repair this situation and bring it back to the way it was is if he beats Ruiz for all three of these belts. And if he's taken out of the equation and he's not in a position to be able to do that, that hurts him, in my opinion, more than it hurts Ruiz, because Ruiz will always have it in the record books that I beat this guy, I knocked him out, and that's that. And then the American fans, I think, won't get mad at the situation. They won't be blaming Ruiz. They'll be blaming Joshua. They'll be looking at it like Hearn's greedy, Joshua's greedy. They're screwing over Ruiz. And then the whole thing is, well, he signed. Well, maybe he thought there was wiggle room. Who knows? Maybe, he thought because the situation changed. Again, legally, Hearn's got a strong case. I'm not questioning that. But again, we don't know what's going to happen if it goes before a judge. Again, the unconscionable contract, the safety.
It could be a tough sell. That's a tough sell for me. I got to be honest. And you had mentioned, okay, well, this hurts Joshua. This absolutely, D-Style, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. You said that this hurts Joshua more than Ruiz. I'm not 100% sure that it does. Number one, if they go to litigation, it hurts both guys, no question, because nobody wants to sit out for that long.
Sure.
Number two, though, Joshua's going to continue to get big paydays.
He will.
I don't know about Ruiz.
Well,
I don't know about Ruiz, because if he goes and fights Wilder with no belts, he's clearly not going to get the same amount of money as if he was the undisputed champ.
Can I tell you something? They're both Heyman fighters, right?
Yeah.
Ruiz didn't lose the belts; they got stripped from him, right?
Correct.
I think he would get about the same.
But how many times? But the other thing we got to remember too is we agree. And I think we agree that I don't think that Ruiz can beat Wilder.
I don't think so. No,
I don't think so either.
No, I don't.
So he cashes out on that fight because he's not going to get another payday. Yeah. Anthony Joshua can go over there and just demolish Kubrat Pulev and and a lot of other guys and still get good paydays. At the end of the day, this
he gets the same paydays though. You think he gets the same paydays as he would be getting now? Like, you think his stock drops at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, listen. Maybe he gets $14 million a fight. Who knows? The rumor is what he was getting like what $20 million a fight or something
20, 25. I don't know.
It's all over the place.
It's all over the place.
Really knows. But he still gets a good sum of money.
He was getting at least $20 million a fight.
Yeah. That's the thing. But I do think this hurts. At the end of the day, this hurts Ruiz more, and
hurts him financially more.
Him financially for sure.
But again, the guy was broke before. The guy was out for 2 years before when he was going through the problems with Top Rank. So in his mind, he's saying to himself, I've done this before. It definitely hurts him more financially, without question.
Yeah.
But in terms of perception of how he's looked at, he's still going to be the man who beat the man,
Realistically, let me ask you like a question though. Like realistically, we know this fight? We know the fight isn't going to take place in New York. We know the fight. We know where the fight is going to take place. They're not going to call this. They're not going to recall this from Saudi.
I don't know what Ruiz was saying, because he said he knows something. He had something. I don't know what it is.
I don't.
Someone's got to be telling him something.
Is this jockeying for more money? At the end of the day, when this is all said and done, the Instagram thing, him saying I'm not going to do it, blah blah blah, is he just holding out for more money?
Well, I could see him getting more money. I don't think they're going to change the location.
They're not changing the location.
They're not going to change the location.
There's too much money tied in. Too much already tied in.
They're not going to change the location. I mean, they already 100%. Made it. They already made a concession and put it in a neutral. I mean, if it was
and that's the other thing too. They put it in a neutral. He says, "Okay, I don't want to fight in England." All right, well, I don't think it's right. I mean, Eddie Hearn and them could say, well, hey, I don't think it's right that we come back to the U.S. We already fought you in the U.S.
Yeah.
We'll go to a neutral location, which is the fairest way to handle this. Saudi Arabia is a neutral location. Neither fighter is from Saudi.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get any more neutral than that. I don't buy the fact if, and I've heard this said, like, well, he could claim that, his safety feels threatened. Come on, son. That's just a weak argument. It really is.
No, I mean, the thing is this, Eric. The relationship between America and Saudi. There's a lot of backlash already. Like, people are really unhappy about this fight being in Saudi. Even the media members.
Both sides, yeah. UK and US are.
The media members were calling Eddie Hearn and saying, well, even the females are. Well, we going to be allowed to go over there? How are we going to go over there? Like, a lot of people, the media members are concerned about going over there. And plus, again, I mean, someone was murdered over there. An American journalist was murdered over there, and then you got more American journalists going over there to cover a fight, and then there's no drinking over there either. You know that, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a dry place.
So I mean,
they don't drink over there.
There's just a lot of things. Like, I mean, a lot of people are not happy with this. There's a lot of pressure on him right now. He's getting a lot of backlash. So.
Some people say that Saudi Arabia favors AJ. How is that possible?
Because he vacations in Dubai a lot, and Dubai is close to Saudi Arabia.
I mean, and it's like saying, well, maybe I don't know. That's.
I mean, you go to Disney World, but does that mean like
Right. That means it's my home away from home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like we go to Florida. I mean, does that mean that's my because I go there and I mean, that's silly.
I thought Canada. I thought the Bell Center would have been the best place to put this fight if it's gonna be neutral.
That's not bad either. But again, that's that open market. People are trying to break into that. Like a few years ago, remember it was China. China was the big place.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't hate the fight being over there. It doesn't really bother me. My argument is my whole thing is I think you should get more than $9 million. That's my argument. I don't care the fight's over there.
Right.
I mean. It's going to be in the wintertime. The weather's not going to be too bad. It's going to be
50 and 65 degrees.
Yeah, it's the perfect time. Nice. It's the perfect time to go over there if you're going to go over there, weather-wise.
Right.
So I don't hate it, but people just have to understand that part of the world is not looked at in a positive light.
No. Absolutely not.
And Americans mostly are the ones that are not really happy about Saudi Arabia because, again, an American journalist was just killed there, and it was swept under the rug and nothing happened. And there was a big story about it over here. It was on the news everywhere, and everyone was mad that Trump didn't do anything about it. And I'm just saying they could politicize. All I'm saying is if Ruiz decides to politicize this, which they're probably going to do, because he kind of dropped a hint on Instagram, like, we got something, and he said, I can't talk about it. Like I think he's talking to some lawyers right now, and I think he's looking to present the case here. I'm just saying.
Is that video still up on Instagram? I looked for it. I didn't see it on there.
Let me see if I can get it, man.
See if you can look it up. I mean, don't play it because it's hard to hear. They got music in the background, and it's real kind of fuzzy. You really have to kind of really listen. But I'm surprised. I really am. I mean, let me ask you a question though. Like, if they give him, I think $9 million. If they gave him $15 million, because I think the number being thrown around again that we hear is $9 million. If they gave him $15 million, and he still pulls the same stunt, saying, "Oh, it's Saudi Arabia. I'm not going to go over there." Blah blah blah. You know. Is he being a baby about this? Is he being a little bit of a diva about this?
Well, he can't, like I said, he can't have everything. So they went out of their way, they put it in a neutral site. I get that.
Right.
I just think the money thing is, I think the money thing is something, if they take care of the money thing, I think he's going too far.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because you can put like VADA in here or USADA or whoever you want to do the drug testing type of thing.
Exactly. You can
Can't
negotiate.
You fly in a commission. I mean, you can fly in 3 neutral judges. You can fly in a commission.
This is what they can do, because the other, again, people don't understand. Oh, everything's all no. They're still negotiating shit. They still got to negotiate drug protocol, judges, referee, all that shit. So if they say, okay, you can have 1 UK judge, 1 American judge, and then 1 Canadian judge.
Yeah.
It's fucking fine. Then have
3 American judges. Who cares?
Have a fucking Italian have an Italian referee or something. Just make sure he speaks English. I mean, if they throw him more money and he still doesn't go over there, then he's going too far. Yeah. Because at this point, it's going to be hard to get the fight out of there.
Right.
So.
Let's see here. Do you think, Rafael Dawkins just said that he's pulled the Instagram post, and that's what I thought too when I went out there and
he pulled it?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. 'Cause I didn't see it. I had to go to like Twitter and find it there and everything like that, but I didn't see it.
Listen, all Ruiz is doing is he's holding out. He's playing hardball because he's trying to get the most he can get out of the situation.
Yeah.
Everyone's yelling, screaming, blah, blah, blah. He's this, he's that. But at the end of the day, it's like he's just negotiating. I talked about this earlier in my video. Sugar Ray Robinson is thought to be the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time, in a lot of people's opinions. I don't really, put much stock into all that because I don't like to compare the eras. But this guy was a prick at the negotiating table. He would fucking try to pull out of fights the day in the locker room. He would tell the promoter, well, I heard that there's fucking international television on here. I didn't know that before I signed the contract. I want a piece of that. I want $10,001 or I'm not fighting. And they would give it. And they would give it to him. So
their feet are on the wall. Yeah.
This is what fighters do. How am I going to get mad at a fighter for trying to get the best deal for himself and his family?
Right.
Everyone's sitting there. He's a coward. He's greedy.
No.
He knocked the guy down 4. Did you guys watch the same fight that you and I were watching?
Yeah.
Is he afraid of him, Eric?
He wrecked him.
Is he afraid of him?
He completely wrecked that guy.
What does he have to be afraid of?
Absolutely
the guy,
nothing.
I mean, what fear is it? How could it be a fluke? How could it be a fluke?
Right.
It wasn't like what Rockman did, landed that one punch out of nowhere, the Hail Mary punch. He beat him up.
It was a one-sided fight.
After the second round.
One round.
From the third.
1 round is what I gave him. 1 round is what I gave
Joshua. 1 round.
One.
Okay? It was a one-sided fight. There's no way he's afraid of him. And if you're mad, I understand you guys are mad. The UK guys are mad. Because you want the fight to happen. The fight's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Right.
But all the guy's trying to do is get more money for himself. Okay?
At the end of the day, yeah, money's going to solve that.
That's what I think. I think it is. I think he knows deep down. What he's trying to say is, well, if I got to go over there, then you got to pay me more money.
Right.
That's what I think he's doing. All the AJ fans, he's a coward. Dude, he knocked him out. He beat him up.
Guys, and by the way, before you call the guys cowards and this and that, they get in the ring and throw punches at each other for a living. And each guy has done it on more than one occasion. They're not scared of anybody. Anybody who gets in the ring is fair game. They're not scared of anybody.
He went to New Zealand in Joseph Parker's backyard, and I thought he beat him. He went to Macau twice. So like, what the fuck? He's like, do these people even know the fucking history?
Even fanboy in the chat just said he signed for a flat fee in the rematch. Beeb, he's got to honor the contract. No, even Eddie Hearn said he's getting more money than what the contract said.
So he already bumped him up
for the flat fee.
So
he's already bumped him.
He already bumped him up.
He's already bumped him.
So everyone's yelling at what Ruiz is doing right now. They're criticizing it, right? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Isn't it working?
You know what? I think that it might be the fact
it's working.
That
it's working. His tactics are working. He got the fight out of the UK. That's one win. And he's getting more money. That's another win. So why, like, what is he doing wrong? He's playing hardball.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I mean, but at the end of the day, I think that, it's all about money. I think that Ruiz, if he got $5 more million or 10, if he got about 15 million for the fight, if he goes from 9 to 15, I think that's a wrap. I don't think he cares at that point.
That's it.
That's what he's trying to do.
That's
what I believe he's trying to do.
That's it. These are all negotiation tactics. They're negotiation ploys. And everyone is bringing emotion into it. Oh.
Yeah.
And then people trying to bring honor into this. Is Eddie Hearn really an honorable person? He's a businessman. He'll do whatever it takes to make fucking money.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a dirty business and you want to use the word honor. There's no fucking honor in this sport. Look at all the fucking politicking bullshit that goes on behind the scenes and you want to talk about honor? This sport has had a fucking dark cloud over it since its existence. And now all of a sudden we want to talk about honor. Honor. You're in a snake pit slithering around with snakes. And you want to talk about honor.
About honor. Yeah, exactly.
Really. Go up to a lawyer, right? That's a fucking defense lawyer or a prosecution lawyer for a living, and ask them about honor. Their job is to win fucking cases. And when you're a boxer, your job is to make the most fucking money you can and get the most for yourself. If you're a promoter, your job is to make the most money you can for yourself. It's a cutthroat business. There's no fucking honor in this business.
No.
Stop it.
Oh, man. And again, like, we criticize Tyson Fury. We criticize Tyson Fury for fighting Otto Wallin and whoever that other guy was that he fought beforehand. And, listen, it's like they said, where what his brother came out and said in that interview, for what he's getting paid, for who he's fighting, he'll fight him all day. You know what I mean? He'll fight him every day of the week for what he's getting paid.
That's it.
It just is what it is. It's about the money. That's the bottom line. Speaks the loudest, man.
That's it.
And I believe, like I said, man, I believe that at the end of the day, the fight will take place in Saudi. I believe they'll have VADA testing over there or some kind of testing. And they'll have 3 neutral judges or 3, a judge from U.S., UK, and wherever. I believe they'll probably fly an American ref over there. It'll have to be somebody experienced. I think it'll go down the middle. I really do. I don't think I don't think anybody will have any qualms with it. I really don't,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see what's going to happen here. I'll feel more comfortable when I see both guys, at a press conference together and they're talking and, it was kind of stupid having that press conference without the fighters there. It looked dumb. It looked dumb.
I think it was silly. I'll be honest, man. Eddie, maybe this was part of Eddie's strategy too. I thought it was silly to have the press conference there and announce this fight when both fighters had not agreed to terms.
Yeah, it was.
I thought that was really, the thing is, man, like if you're Eddie Hearn you got to look at everybody you promote as potentially could sign with you. And if you're going to screw somebody like that, why would I ever sign with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would I ever sign with you? Never.
My whole thing is this, and this is my opinion, this is my stance on the whole thing. The original contract sucked. The terms of it sucked, the rematch clause, right? And, you know, history has shown us that a lot of fighters have had a hard time negotiating with Hearn. If you're not in the matchroom stable, it's hard to deal with Hearn. Fury had a hard time dealing with them. Wilder had a hard time dealing with them. Even Dillian White has a hard time dealing with them, and he's in the stable. Kubrat Pulev had a hard time dealing with them. All these fighters have a hard time dealing with him because of these contracts.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is this: I don't want to go back to the Don King days. That was a fucking fuck show. The way Don King used to screw fighters over, all these ridiculous contracts. You want a shot at the title, you gotta give me your next 3. Fine. Like Eddie Hearn is coming up with deals like this. So I want this shit to go away. I don't want to see situations like this happening, because if it's gonna happen now in this situation, how is a Wilder fight gonna happen? How is a Fury fight? Like, how are the big fights ever gonna happen when you have one guy putting out these bullshit contracts that no one's going to agree to? And the only reason why this guy agreed to it was because he had no choice. And maybe he thought, maybe I can squeeze out some wiggle room if I win. So that's the thing. Like, I just don't want to go back to the Don King days.
No.
That's just my opinion. Now, am I overstating it? I don't know. That's open to interpretation. Maybe I don't know. I just don't. I'm just seeing a lot of shit. Like everyone keeps getting these types of contracts from Eddie Hearn, and they're just turning them down, because it's always like you got to sign like your life away if you want to fucking fight Joshua, and it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's why I mean, I'm sorry to say this. This is why I want Joshua to lose, because I want this stronghold to be broken. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, he, you know, like I said, he doesn't make, you know, it's tough. Like I said, I mean, that, you know, that prevents a lot of things from happening. You know, it prevents a lot of things from happening when you say, well, you got to fight your next 2 fights here, and then you got to do this, and then you got to do that, and then you got to rematch him.
I just never seen this.
He's famous for those contracts where, you know, you rematch for like the same amount of money and the champion gets, you know what I mean? Like where the champion should get bumped up, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? If it's a rematch clause, it's terrible. It's just terrible.
Like when has this ever happened before, where a guy gets locked into a purse when he wins? And that's like, so what if you get like an offer from a country, or like what if the zone decides now that we're going to give you $60 million, Eddie, to pay the fighters, and you got the other guy locked in at 9. Like, circumstances can always change. Like, the fight can grow in interest. It can get bigger. Like, and then you want to sign. Like, what they were trying to ask they were trying to lock. This is why I thought the Deontay Wilder deal was bullshit. It's because what if Deontay Wilder, now it looks like he probably would have knocked him out, right? And then he's locked into $40 million in the rematch, and then fucking Joshua would probably get the same amount as him after losing the fight. And I don't understand why people thought that was such a great deal. I just don't understand it.
What did they offer him? $100 million for 3 fights?
They were going to give him 20 for Brazil and 40 for the next 2 Joshua fights. Whether he won or lost, he was going to get 40 in the second fight. And I just don't think that was a fair deal, because if he beats Anthony Joshua, the rematch is huge. It's huge. And then he's locked into $40 million. What's Joshua get? Because the zone's paying both fighters, and they asked him, well, what's Joshua getting? And they wouldn't tell him, because they knew they were paying Joshua more. Right. And they would have paid him more even in losing, Eric. That's fucking bullshit.
Well, I tell you what, you know, we talked about this quite a few times on the show here. When Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, What did he get? $5 million?
$4 million.
$4 million. His next fight against Evander Holyfield was what? 26?
25.
Something. 25.
25.
That was back in 91.
Yes.
Andy Ruiz got like what, $4 or $5 million to fight Joshua.
Yeah.
And now he's going to get $9 million for the rematch?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is that messed up? Is my math wrong? I mean,
everyone wants to,
jacked, right?
and all these UK people are saying this is standard. Well, then you haven't been watching boxing for a long enough time if you think this is standard. It's not standard.
No, not at all.
It's not standard.
And Newer in the chat just says your hate for AJ is diluting your knowledge. No, listen. I think the thing that gets missed here, we don't hate AJ. We don't hate. I don't hate either one of these guys.
If we are giving factual data,
right?
Debate. If you can't debate us with logic, and you're debating us with emotion, you're losing, guys. You're disqualified from the debate. You have no you have no counter argument because you can't prove to us that our information that we just said was wrong. You have nothing to counteract our information with. Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, like, we don't hate any of the fighters. There's not, we don't have favorites or anything. At least I don't really have favorites. Everybody's got guys you like to watch, but when it comes down to all this stuff, like, it's just, it's not like real personal to me, to watch these two guys if one guy wins or one guy loses.
I will agree with Wilder 100%. Because why would he sign that deal with DAZN when Joshua didn't? So you're going to sign, just like, here's the thing. Canelo signed a deal with DAZN, right? Yeah. With the intention that he was going to fight Golovkin, right? That was the premise of the deal, right?
I would think that was a premise. It had to be.
Now they're saying that they talked about it. DAZN is saying they talked about it, right? But that fight never happened. So Golovkin and Canelo both signed the deal, and the fight's not happening. Joshua signs the $100 million deal, right? Mm-hmm. What guarantee does he have that fucking Joshua's going to fight him?
Are you talking about the Wilder deal?
The Wilder deal. What? Wilder signs the zone deal, right? What guarantee does?
Yeah.
Unless he has a contract in front of him that Joshua signed guaranteeing him the fight, how does he know he's going to fight him? And then. He wins the first fight, and he's locked into a $40 million purse for the rematch. That's wrong. That is fucking wrong.
It really should have been a one-off.
Should have been a one-off.
If they're going to do that, it should have been a one-off.
That's a Don King. That's a Don King move. You want to fight us? You gotta
sign a contract.
You gotta get locked in for 3 fights.
Yep. That's exactly what he used to do.
Why couldn't they just give him a 1-fight fucking deal? Give him a 1-fight fucking deal, like everyone else does.
Right.
So when Buster Douglas fought Evander Holyfield, right? Did he have to sign a 3-fight deal with HBO to get the shot at the title?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he have to sign a 3-fight deal with HBO? No. When Tyson fought Holyfield, did he have to sign did Holyfield have to sign fucking a 3-fight deal fucking with Showtime? Like these are one-off deals. Like, you negotiate one fight at a time because you don't know what's going to happen. He would have signed that deal. Joshua would have lost. And then what the fuck would have happened? They're not going to pay him $40 million to fight a Joe Blow. So at the end of the day, hindsight's 20/20. It's better that he didn't sign the deal.
Maybe. You could argue. You can make an argument either way because I'll tell you what.
Eric, he lost. The fight would have been done. The fight's gone now. He lost. He would have signed the deal, and then Joshua gets knocked out by Ruiz. Now the fight's done. Now they're not. Now his $100 million's gone, and he's still locked into 3 fights.
Right, but he's guaranteed $100 million.
Well, you don't know if they could, again. We thought that
it had to be. Maybe it was contingent on him fighting AJ.
Now we thought Canelo was getting fucking 33 something a fight, right? But the way DAZN split it up was
right. Yeah, that was like $14 million for fielding.
These are the things that these fucking UK fucking. I gotta stop now because I don't want to use bad words, but these UK.
Well, go ahead.
These are the things these UK people aren't looking at. These are the things they're looking at. Joshua would have lost the fight, and then Wilder would have been locked in for 3 fights, and he would have been fucked. Because they're not going to pay him $40 million to fight a Joe Blow. They probably would have. You know what they probably would have done? okay, so we'll give you $20 million to fight somebody else. That's still not $40 million.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too, is that we're not like, again, the only thing we can go off of is what we read. You know what I mean? And nobody is in there. Nobody really sees the contract. And I always go back to your conversation with Bob Arum when we talked about the Tyson Fury, and he was like, "That's all nonsense." No, that's not. It's all nonsense. That's not what he's making. You know, and it clears it up because it's like we don't know what they're making. We can only go by what's reported that they're making.
Listen,
you know,
Ruiz was fortunate to get the shot. We understand.
Absolutely,
we understand that. But again,
yeah.
They were running out of time. They were having problems getting finding people. You know. I mean,
Ruiz. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He capitalized on his opportunity.
Yeah. And
he did it in emphatic fashion. He did it in such a style that he deserves to be rewarded for that. Okay.
And you know the thing is too, man, is that you got to admire what Ruiz did. Ruiz went out there and got it. He didn't rely on Heyman to get it. He was the one that texted AJ or texted Eddie and says, "Hey, put me in, coach," you know. And I think his handlers had very little to do with it. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they had much to do with it.
They probably came in after.
Just my opinion.
They probably came in after. You could be right. I don't know.
Right.
You could be right. You could be right.
Yeah, anybody who thinks he was lucky to beat AJ, listen, man, I don't think there's luck in boxing. I really don't. There's just not luck in boxing.
This was not the same scenario as Hasim Rahman landing that punch out of nowhere. It just wasn't. Wasn't this? No.
Oh no. And you can't. I wouldn't even call that a lucky shot that he hit Lennox Lewis with.
No.
You know, because he was working Lennox over. It wasn't like a one-sided fight. They were both getting shots in. This was a one-sided beatdown. It really was. This was a one-sided, you know, bludgeoning. It really, I mean, this was, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, though, with all this stuff going on, if they do rematch in Saudi, does Ruiz pull off but does he do the upset again? Does he beat Joshua again?
I think he's going to beat Joshua again because I'm seeing a lot of things from Joshua I don't like. Like I don't like the way he looks. I don't like him.
I don't like the way he looks either.
I don't like that stripping all the muscle off of him. We seen Roy Jones do that when he went up to heavyweight and got all buffed, and then he went back down to light heavy. Like when you try to cut weight like that, he's going from one extreme to another. I don't like the way he's talking. I don't like the fact that he seems very conflicted. I'll be honest with you. I think Ruiz knocks him out again. I was a little concerned about Ruiz having that Buster Douglas syndrome, maybe not taking the whole situation seriously enough, but I would be more concerned if I was an AJ fan, looking at AJ trying to fucking get down to a cruiserweight. He looks like fucking. He lost just doesn't look the same. I don't like.
It doesn't look right.
Doesn't look right. He looks like too lean. He looked like I think he's overtraining. I think he's doing too much cardio. I take it from someone who's addicted to cardio. Like there's times when I would fucking do hours and hours of cardio because I liked it, and then I try to go hit the weights, and I can't. I noticed I lost strength. So I said to myself, I got to find a happy medium here. There's times when I've taken off weight real quick, and then I'd be waking up at 2:00 in the morning starving because I'm just fucking losing too much fucking weight. I'm burning too many calories.
Yeah.
It's like he looks like sunken in his face. I don't think his punch resistance even at the heavier weight is shaky. Now you're stripping down size. That's going to weaken your punch resistance more.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Let me ask you a question. You know what he reminds me of is, you remember the Riddick Bowe Andrew Galata fight?
Yes.
Bowe came in and he lost all that weight.
235.
Yeah, and you're like, he just doesn't look right.
He was flat. He was
real flat. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of here.
Because he lost that weight because he was getting ready to go into the Marines.
Or he wore the yellow trunks with the sergeant stripes on them and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
H Money says that, Eric, you're crazy. He says that what is it that AJ knocked Ruiz down in the first round. H Money, go back and rewind. You have the zone, I'm assuming, since that's your title of your name. Go back and rewatch the fight. That did not happen. It was a third round, and he was knocked down. Then AJ was dropped 2 more times in that round. So yeah, he said that AJ was winning before this fight stopped.
AJ got knocked out, brother. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Yeah.
Got knocked the fuck out. No one can change it.
Come on, son.
No one can change it. Yeah, he was in the Marines for 2 weeks.
He sure was. Yeah, it was 2 weeks, and then I think they threw him out. I don't know if he even quit or not.
He couldn't. He
discharged him.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't hack.
No,
he didn't like he didn't like being told what to do.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, and the sergeants and everything. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. But I mean, he is the heavyweight champion of the world, and
that sucks.
He's a pretty tough guy.
They treat you like shit. They treat you like shit in the Marines. My brother was.
Oh yeah.
I was in the Army. My brother was in the Marines. So,
yeah. So, yeah, it's not pleasant, but it's not supposed to be.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at him. Look at him.
Little Emma. What do you think?
That's a nice little puppy.
He says, Anthony Joshua scored the first knockdown. That's correct. He did. But then it was all downhill for him like 30 seconds later.
Then he got knocked down like seconds later after he scored the first knockdown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but I guess in summation here, I think at the end of the day, it's all going to be, I think this is a ploy for more money. I think that's all it is.
That's what I think too.
Would you be shocked if this thing went to litigation?
I'd be a little surprised. I wouldn't be like falling off my chair shocked, but I'd be a little surprised.
I would be too. I would be pretty shocked.
I'm not going to lie. I think he's just trying to like kind of wait them out a little bit, smoke them out, see what he get, basically.
Because like you said, it's not good. It's not good for anybody, man.
It's not good for anybody, man.
Yeah. Rematch, about 2 months ago. I got Emma about 2 months ago. She's a mini schnauzer, so
she's adorable. She's an adorable little doggy.
Yeah, Manny Gatillo says AJ is more like the Oliver McCall division. Maybe.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. I don't.
McCall, say what you want about McCall, man. He defended his title.
I don't. Yeah, look, McCall beat Larry Holmes too.
Yeah, and Frank Bruno.
Frank
Bruno beat him.
Frank Bruno beat him.
But he did beat Larry Holmes.
I like Frank Bruno, man. Everyone talks shit about Frank Bruno when he was fighting. I like Frank Bruno.
Frank Bruno's a great fighter.
See Frank Bruno now, he's in phenomenal shape, man. He looks fucking awesome.
He looks like he could go like his fighting days.
He looks young. He looks young, man.
Yeah, I mean, he is he's still ripped up. Chris Eubank Sr. is kind of the same way.
Yes.
Where he's still in perfect shape, man.
Yes.
I mean, that guy is in good shape.
Yes. Yes, he looks good.
Yeah, the Atomic Bull, that was McCall's nickname.
Oh,
yeah.
McCall, that was a good nickname.
That was the best nickname, man. AJ's the modern day Frank Bruno. No, I don't think so. He's good but not good enough. No, I wouldn't say that. He's won. I mean, listen, he's defended his title a number of times. He won 3 belts. I mean, yeah, I think he's got Frank Bruno beat. I really do.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens in this rematch. We can't count our chickens before they hatch. So
no, no. I think I'm looking forward to it though. I am. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, Eddie Hearn said that regular people are going to be able to go to this fight, so they're going to put tickets out. But how many seats did they say they have?
16,000.
Yeah, 16,000. So there is no temporary structure like was reported.
Well, they're building a stadium specifically for this fight.
Jeez.
And so they're going to throw a makeshift stadium together in 3 months? September, October, November, December, 4 months.
Good luck with that. But I guess I tell you what, man. If anybody can do it, it's those guys over there.
Oh, they'll be able to do it.
Did you see in Dubai? I think it's in Dubai, so it's not exactly Saudi Arabia, obviously, but they're fairly close. A lot of money both places, They built that one. They built islands that look like the world. Okay, it's like if you were to picture like a map of the world, and all the countries and everything, they built like islands, and you could buy property on this whole thing. It's like they put sand and everything like that, made a structure, made foundations, and the whole community, is like there's no cars, you just drive boats through.
Yeah,
it's insane. I mean, the stuff they do over there is insane. So, they got money, man.
Reese Max is 7,000. No, that was the original claim. They were talking about putting it in a arena that's already constructed. No, they're coming up with a whole new arena. They're gonna build. It's gonna be 16,000 seats.
Give Me the Loot says, I wonder if Saudi wanted this bout for AJ or Ruiz. I'm assuming he's talking about who the house fighter is over there. I think AJ's definitely the house fighter.
He'll be the house fighter. He'll be the A side.
Yeah, he's the house fighter. I mean, Ruiz. Let's face it. if Ruiz had his pick, he's not going to Saudi.
Yeah.
I think that, that's for sure. Ruiz is going to beat AJ again. It's a bad style matchup.
So
you may be right, man.
I agree with I agree with Mr. Boxing today. I don't like this new version of AJ.
Do you think Tyson would have beat Douglas in the rematch, or was it a bad style matchup again for Tyson?
If the Buster Douglas that showed up to fight Evander Holyfield, then I think Tyson would have beat him. Yeah.
Boxing Spectrum, thank you so much. He said, "This is Gonzalo. I'm a good friend. I'm a fan of the good show, Eric and Beebs. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate
that, brother. As always.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. All right. I think. Also too. Hey guys, remember, tune in on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna have Mike Montero on the show. And he's going to be with us, I think, for a good part of the show. So he'll be a co-host here. And so all you guys, if you guys have questions, the phone lines are going to be open. You can talk to him directly. Hopefully Jason calls in. Jason's always got a lot to say about Montero.
Yeah.
Beeb, do you think Jason calls in, or you think he just
no, he'll hide.
Bags it?
He'll hide.
He'll hide. I think he'll hide too. He doesn't have any sense.
You don't want to challenge anybody.
No. He wants to talk about. He's much more comfortable talking behind people's backs.
Oh yeah. He's a good keyboard warrior.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't want to ruin that reputation.
No, not at all.
All right, and give me the loot. Yeah, I'll check the audio after this. He says my mic's a little bit low, so maybe maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell either. Sometimes it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That Dubai, Eric, not Saudi Arabia, not what? That's Dubai, Eric, not Arabia. Saudi Arabia, maybe?
Yeah, he's trying to say Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, the island thing. Yeah, I know it was in Dubai.
That's what he said.
I said that.
You said Dubai.
Yeah, I thought I said that.
You said Dubai.
Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Well, again, catch us Sunday, and hey, catch us through the week, man, because news is updating fast on this story, and hopefully it gets settled out, and we got some more news for you. So we will catch you soon. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, take care, guys.